Yobo, welcome to another episode of In the Life with MightyFan. I got another vehicle vlog here. Might be a little shorter, but we'll see. I am going to the King of Prussia area today, but I'm not going to the mall. I know, it's surprising to me too. But I am going to the Walmart there and get some groceries, and there's a couple Walmarts not far from me. This is the one that's a little further away, but I figure, you know, it's a nice day, nice to get out, take a little drive, and I'm hopeful that this, I mean, you know, we thought summer was pretty much over with, and then it reminds that no, summer's in September too. I think until what, the 22nd, the fall equinox comes in, and so this weekend is kind of hot and humid, but then I think after this weekend, I believe there's a front coming through that might give us some much needed rain, and it's going to cool things down pretty significantly next week, which I'm perfectly fine with. As we all know, my affinity to the cooler, crisper fall weather opposed to the hot and humid summer weather. So yeah, and let's see. So, you know, things have been going okay. I had a really nice trip with my buddy Slim. I went there last weekend and had a good time with him as always, and saw a very nice, very fun ZZ Top Leonard Skinner show in Virginia. Excuse me. Two groups that I never saw play live, so it was cool seeing them, and Slim is a huge Skinner fan, so, you know, it was really cool to see him, you know, see them in concert. He was having a great time, and I was having a great time, you know, and I told him this. I said, you know, one of the things that I enjoyed most was seeing you this happy, and just, you know, going with the show and just being you know, entertained, and, you know, I said that meant a lot to me. You know, it was cool to have an opportunity to see his favorite group with him live, and I know a lot of the members aren't, you know, with Skinner anymore, and, you know, whatnot, but still, the point is, you know, seeing them play that music live and him being as into it as he was, it was a great experience. And I told him I won't try to get him out to a Deftones concert. I don't think that's Slim's cup of tea, but but he's always more than welcome if he wants to, but I wouldn't put that on him. But I did. I was glad to have that opportunity, and we had a great time. And his buddy Joe, you know, the three of us went, and it was a lot of fun. And like I always said, you know, when you go to a concert, you see groups playing live, it's just a tremendous experience, and I always would recommend it to people. You know, make sure you get out to do it. It's a blast. It really is. So that was last weekend, and I got there in time. Slim and I, we saw the first, you know, the opening of the Eagles season. The Eagles got a win in São Paulo, Brazil. So they are undefeated out of the country. They won a game in London years ago against Jacksonville, and now they beat the Packers in Brazil. So you don't want to play us outside of the States, I'll tell you that. And there were some harrowing moments in the game, and, you know, it was kind of a typical opening of the season game. You know, there was sloppiness, there was penalties, there was maybe decisions you didn't want to make on the field, but, you know, it is what it is. It was one game. It was entertaining. Eagles won. Saquon Barkley went off 3 touchdowns. He outscored the Giants this past weekend, which was good. Not that Giant fans aren't already feeling a kind of way about their team, but thanks for Saquon. So, but that was good. You know, it was fun to see them win. You know, and they got their real home opener coming up on Monday night against Atlanta. I'll get more into that game, and the Eagles on my Season of the Fan series, which I hope to film this weekend. Yeah, I mean, the Phillies have been doing pretty good. Of course, they lost last night to the Mets 11-3, and of course, you turn on Sports Talk Radio, and for as good of a run as they've had the last couple of weeks, now they're back to being the worst team in baseball, and they're not going to get out of the first playoff series. And I don't know if we can trust the pitching. They're not going to hit. It's one game. Look, I know it's a big series against the Mets. The Mets are the team chasing us in the division. It's 7 games now. The magic number to make the playoffs, I believe, is 9 still, or 8. I think it's 8. To win the division, it's still 9. They're gonna be okay. They have some injuries that they're gonna start getting some guys back. I know Bryce is playing hurt. Hasn't hit a home run in a month. I get all that, but they're gonna be okay. They still have a really good pitching rotation. They have a terrific bullpen. They're not going to put guys, I would hope, on the playoff roster that are going to be questionable, decisions like Kimbrel last year, which I yelled from my seat in Section 422 to keep him off the playoff roster, and they put him on, and bad things happened. I believe they're going to be just fine. I know it's a big series against the Mets. Look, if we can still win 2 out of 3, that's awesome. Just win 1. Just give me 1 win this weekend against the Mets. Increase that. Just get that lead to where the Mets, it's not going to happen. They're not going to catch us for the division. I know they have a big 4-game set in New York next week, into next weekend. They play the Brewers in a big series in Milwaukee early next week. This is a big, 3 series for the Phillies. They can really help themselves by winning, or splitting, or at least getting 1 in this. Winning any games in these next, for the next couple weeks is going to be big, because it's going to help them in the division. It's going to help them, close out the division, I should say, and it's also going to help them to have one of the top 2 seeds. If they win 1 game in Milwaukee, 1 game, they won the season series against the Brewers, and they have the tiebreak. They already have the tiebreak with the Dodgers. If they can, the Mets, I just don't think are going to catch us. I don't think they're going to catch us, and so really it's the Dodgers and the Brewers. If the Phillies win 1 game in Milwaukee, they have the season series. They have the tiebreaker. Like I said, they have it against the Dodgers. They're in good shape. Yesterday was frustrating. Aaron Nola blew up in the 5th inning. The Mets get 2 3-run home runs. It's Aaron Nola in September. I mean, we come to expect this. I think they'll be fine if they can win 1 of these next 2. If they can win both of them, awesome. That's a perfect situation. But if they can win 1 out of these next 2 against the Mets at home, which they should. I know the Mets have been playing really well. You win 1, you're still in really good shape heading into that big series in Milwaukee. And you win 1 game, at least 1 out of 3 there. If you can win the series, awesome. I mean, sign me up. But if you win at least 1, you got the tiebreaker. And all right, I'll take that too. And then you got a big 4-game set at the Mets where you can put the division away. If you split that series, the division's over. So, we'll see. As good as the Mets have been, basically if you could win 3 games against the Mets out of these next 6, if you go 500 against the Mets in the next 6 games against them, you won the division. It's over. The Mets can't catch you. If you win 1 out of 3 in Milwaukee, you've won the season series, and more than likely, Milwaukee's not going to catch us for the record. So that's good. You still have everything in front of you, and all of a sudden, because of 1 loss, the Philly, I don't know if we can trust them in the playoffs. That's just how the local sports talk is. It's really, you like set it like a clock. Oh, there's a loss. Oh, we're the worst teams in the world. Nothing ever is going to go well. It is what it is. I still love sports talk radio. I listen to it all the time. I probably listen to it too much. But at any rate, that's that. So I'm still, I'm in good spirits about where the Phillies are. I think they still have good things ahead of them. They just have to win some games. They have to find ways and not go back to what they were, you know, about a month ago in July and August, where it was just, that was tough. That was tough to watch. So that's that. Hat-wise, there hasn't really been a lot. I guess the one jersey news is there's been some leaks for the City Edition jerseys for the NBA, and I'm happy to say, and I don't remember. I may have said in one of my videos a while back that I would love to see the Sixers bring back those Spectrum jersey in maybe another color. I may have even said white. I forget. I know I kind of, sometimes I go long-winded and I forget sometimes what I say. But I know I brought up those jerseys before because they are still my all-time favorite City Edition jerseys. And I know they were the mixtape edition or whatever when the NBA was celebrating the 75th. And the Sixers wore those navy blue with the Spectrum the Spectrum Edition jersey, which was just freaking awesome and very popular. So because of the popularity of that jersey, they're bringing it back. As much as we know, it was kind of leaked, and it was, I guess, kind of appropriate. As one of the members of Pearl Jam wore a Tyrese Maxey white version of the Spectrum Edition jersey while in concert in Philly, and I guess the way the irony of it, I guess it makes sense. Pearl Jam was the last concert at the Spectrum. They basically closed down the Spectrum. It was like a 4-day show. They played all their hits, all their albums, and they were the last performers at the Spectrum. So it kind of makes sense that one of the members of Pearl Jam were to debut the City Edition, the Spectrum 2.0 version of that jersey. I guess in a way it makes sense. And they're big NBA fans too. So, you know, that kind of went around, and it wasn't debunked. I mean, it was pretty much that, yeah, this is going to be the City Edition jersey. Now, he wasn't wearing the shorts, just the jersey. I liked it. I think it looks sharp. I think the Spectrum, you know, logo down the side, it's a sharp logo. It has that font again for the Sixers across the front. The number font's the same as it was in that 1.0. It's a really good look. I love that first jersey. I was like, just bring it back as an alternate. Just wear it as an alternate. I know they do the City Edition, but maybe if they move on from the red alternate and they did the Spectrum one instead, maybe do like a red version of the Spectrum jersey as their third jersey, as the statement jersey. I'd be fine with that. And I do like their alternate third red, the statement jersey. But if they did like the Spectrum as their third statement, I'd be okay with that. I think that would be fine. But then bringing it back in white for a 2.0 basically for the City Edition, I think makes a lot of sense. Yeah, is it laziness? Is it like, you know, let's just kind of revisit something we already did? But you see teams doing it. And if there was one jersey style of the City Editions that they would bring back, it would be that one. Without a doubt, it would be that one. So I'm happy to see it back. I know the Grizzlies, based off the shorts, it was like they're gonna do like a sounds kind of, you know, ode to the old ABA team, the Sounds, that they're gonna do that. Speaking of which, I did get that Vince Carter in the Memphis Sounds swingman that Mitchell Ness made. I'll show that in another video. The Suns, I believe, are doing an ode to one of their All-Star game when they hosted the All-Star game in the 90s. And those jerseys are nice. So if they do some sort of City Edition for that, based off the shorts, it looks like that's what they're going to do. Sign me up, man. I'll grab a KD in that for sure. You know, and as far as going back to the Grizzlies, I said they're going to do looks like they're doing some sort of ode to the Sounds, the ABA days, in white. And they're also bringing back their Vancouver Grizzly jerseys, their original jerseys, in white this time. They did the teal version, I think John Morant's rookie year, I believe it was, and those, I mean, sold out instantly. So I think they're bringing them back in white, and they just showed the shorts, but it was the full Grizzly Bear logo. You know, you could tell it's the old Vancouver Grizzly, you know, logo, Grizzlies logo. And that they're going to bring that back as their classic edition jersey. So that's cool. I mean, that was pretty much the jersey news. Not so much NHL, football, obviously, is going on right now. MLB's about ready to wrap up, so, that's pretty much the news that we've had. Hat-wise, couple points. I am still very much excited that New Era got the NHL rights back, and they're going to be making a bunch of hats. I know they put out a set of hats already on newera.com, which I kind of figured they were going to do it this way. Very basic. Nothing, no pizzazz, no side patches, just straight hats, classic looking hats. I like it. If you're going to get back into it, I think that's the way to go. And I know they put out these hats like a month or so ago. I have yet to get any. But they're out there. And some people weren't feeling them. But for me, it was like, I kind of figured they were going to do this. They're not going to go crazy right off the bat. Just put out some classic looking nice hats for the NHL teams. And that's what they did. And I'm okay with that. They also did some snaps. They did, the one thing I was a little disappointed in, they seem to do a lot of snaps in the two-tone, whereas the fitteds got the tonal. I would have liked a few more options as the two-tone for fitteds, and I know they'll make them. I mean, there's no doubt that they will. But, I'm a two-tone guy. I love the two-tone hats, whether it's a snap or a fitted. If they could have done a few more fitted versions of them, awesome. But it is what it is. I know they'll do them eventually, so I'm not worrying that much. There has been other companies that are putting out some pretty good-looking NHL hats, and, talking about with the pizzazz, with the side patch, or other logos, classic logos. I know Toppers USA put out a Mighty Ducks logo, Ducks hat, which sold out instantly. And that's kind of what I want to talk about, because I remember, look, I still have, PSD from the pandemic and hats and trying to get hats, and it was almost impossible. They were selling out instantly because they became that thing, right? It's kind of the same with these NHL fitteds, the New Era hats. Not so much the newera.com, but these other companies that are making them, because they're making them with older logos or with side patches or some flair, or just, they're making them like instant buys, and they're selling out right away. Like, you don't, like, I've never had great luck getting hats that are, the hype beasts go after, because I'm just not that quick. All right, I can't my fingers don't move quick enough to put it in the cart and then hit the buy, and then people do it. They use bots, they do all this stuff. And I remember back in the pandemic years, it was like when hats became popular and the damn resellers got greedy hands on them. It was beyond Thunderdome back then, and it really wasn't until like Pro Image, Lids, other like brick and mortar places started getting them in, and I could just go and get them. And look, I'm glad that happened, because I made a really good friend out of it with Anthony at Pro Image, and shout out to Anthony. But that's really how I was able to get a lot of hats back then. I couldn't hit online. Hat Club, all these other, they would sell out instantly. It wasn't even fair. It was like as soon as they were there, they were gone, and I couldn't do anything. So I was like, well, I mean, sometimes I would hit, but most of the time I'd have to take the L's. And I kind of feel that way right now with the hockey hat, with the NHL fitteds, with these other companies making them. Because there's so much, look, people have waited a long time for this. So you're not even dealing with as much. And you're dealing with it too. I mean, with the resellers, yeah, they're starting to pop back up again for the NHL hats, I think. But you're dealing with a lot of people who have wanted to see them for so long, for New Era to get it back, and to have really good fitted NHL hats with the old logos and whatnot. So it's kind of, it's kind of twofold in that way. And I know most of these hats, the initial craze, the initial want, I hate sounding like a defeatist, but I'm probably not going to get a lot of them, because either I'm going to find out about it too late. I'm not, once the drop hits, I'm not going to be quick enough to get them. There's all these different reasons that just don't seem to work for me, I mean, I work. These drops hit during work hours. I can't, you know, it is what it is, right? But, you know, I learned from the pandemic years that, look, when something is popular, and even you see it today in the hat game, when things are popular, other companies are going to make them. They're going to make them in abundance. There's going to be 2.0s, 3.0s. There's going to be different, you know, you're going to see them all over. The market's going to get saturated with the product. And the NHL fitteds, I believe, is going to be something like that. Whereas I might miss out initially on some stuff, but eventually, you know, they're going to come around, because you're going to have these other companies who can make more quantity of hats, like lids, like Fanatics, I should say, for everything, right? Fanatics, maybe Pro Image does some drops. I can go to the store, I can pick some stuff up. You know, lids in store might have some ability at some hats. Now again, there I'm going to be, you know, limited to what my local lids are going to get in, but you know, that's an option too. And eventually, some of these other places that make them and the initial grab is there, eventually it's going to start to go a little easier, you know, where it's not going to be as many people going nuts. And when those drops hit, maybe they stay on the site a little longer. Maybe I have more of a shot that way. And I will say this for Toppers USA, and it's one of the things I really respect about what they do. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes when they put out a hat that's an instant seller, that's like a big hit for them, and it sells out instantly, they'll do a pre-order, you know, so they'll give you a second chance. Case in point for the Ducks, the Mighty Ducks hat. It sold out right away, like, you know, it was gone. They're doing a pre-order for it, so I'll probably grab the pre-order just so I can have it. And I'm sure there's going to be others like that. I know they already kind of hinted at a few, and I know they're going to be gone right away. They're doing a wild hat with the All-Star pat. I mean, I know there's a lot of interest, you know, and the ones that I really, I hope they do a pre-order for them, and because I know they're going to be instant sellouts, is I believe at some point they're going to come out with the Fishermen, the Islanders hat, and I have jerseys for it, so I'd love to have that. And that's one hat that's very hard to attain. I know they when the you know the reverse retros came out, the 2.0, and they did the Fisher, which I still have to get, but they brought back the Fisherman jersey. They made some hats with it. I did get a hat, but it's really in that kind of colorway, which was different than the original colorway. And I would like to get one in the original colorway. I have a hook hat to it, which is a Mets hat, but you know, I would like to get something with that logo, with the Fisherman logo on the front. And I know Toppers is, at some point, they're going to put one out, and they're also going to be making a goat head Buffalo Sabres, and that's another hat that, I mean, to find a vintage one, and that's the other problem. When you find a vintage version of those hats, the seller wants crazy money because they know it's rare, they know the logo is popular, and they know it's a vintage hat. So you'll see like a snapback, you know, Logo Athletic, you know, goat head Sabres hat, and it's like hundreds of dollars. I mean, sometimes I don't pay that for jerseys. I'm definitely not going to pay it for a hat, you know. So I don't care if it is vintage. Or you'll find like an old Star Islanders Fisherman hat, and the seller wants like $200-300 for it. It's like, nah, you know. But that is what it is, and then there are people who that's what they collect, and they will pay that money for it. I'm not one of them, right? I'm not paying that for a vintage snapback. That's just not happening. You know. But if Toppers puts out these hats, I know they're going to be instant sellouts. I would hope, and I know that they're really good about this, I would hope that they put out a pre-order afterwards, because I know that those are definitely going to be real popular, and I would love to get my hands on them, but I kind of know my luck with these drops, and I just, A, I won't see it in time, B, even if I did, I'm just not going to be able to, my fingers are not going to move quick enough to just hit. It just, I don't have that luck. It's just, I know from past experiences, never say never. It's not that I won't try, but I just, I know my luck with these things, and it's just, I don't have it with these drops. But I'm hoping that when they do come out, whenever that is, that they do a pre-order afterwards for it. And I think that they're smart enough to know that. They know that the NHL hats are big. They're going to... It really probably isn't going to matter which one they do. They're probably... Most of them are probably going to be instant sellouts. So I would hope that they would do pre-orders after for them. And like I said, Toppers is really good about that. It's one of the things that I like about them is that they really try to give you every opportunity known to man. And I mean, to the point where I'm, you know, on them with Instagram, like subscribed, and they'll give you like heads up, hey, this hat's going to hit, this hat's going to hit. And then, you know, you have a chance. And then even if you don't get it, not all of them, but sometimes, like I say, they do pre-orders. And that gives you a second chance. And, you know, I'm happy with that. I think it's a great thing. I'm glad that they do that, because believe me, not every hat company out there, in fact, most don't do this. They don't offer this service. So I think it's really good of them to do that. I haven't really taken advantage of it that much. But I will for the Ducks, and I'm sure some of these other hockey hats, if I can't get them, you know, these fitted, you know, particularly the Islanders, like I said, the Fishermen and the Goathead Sabres, both of which I have jerseys for already. So I definitely want a good, you know, whether it's a fitted or snap, in this case it's a fitted, I definitely want a good hat that goes with them. I just, you know, combo wombo, it has to happen. So, but that's what I was excited when I saw New Era was getting the licensing again. It's one of the things I was excited for, not just what New Era themselves would produce, but what all these other companies are going to produce. And all the wild and different, you know, designs and colorways and the old logos and all that, you know, that they'll have the opportunity to make. You know, with this, and you know, I think the more the merrier, to be honest. More options out there, more variety out there. There's still more of a you know, the way I look at it, the more that's out there, the more opportunity I'll have to get it. You know, at some point, even if it's not right away, you know, if they keep pumping these things out, eventually they're going to become a little more available, and at that point, then I can strike a little more easy than I can right off the bat. So it's exciting. I mean, that's, you know, one of the things I was hoping would happen, and now you're starting to see it. It is a shame that, yeah, I mean, they're all instant sellouts right now, but it's because people have waited a long time for good fitted NHL hats again. So it is what it is. But anyhow, I'm at the Walmart here. Okay, don't want to go that way. There's some truck with like a car carrier truck there. And this guy in front of me doesn't seem to know what the gas pedal is. Oh boy. We're having fun. Alright, let's see. Ooh, I think I got a pretty good spot today. Yeah, this is a good spot. Well, hey, I say it in every video, and I'll continue to say it from now till the end of the year. I would love to reach 2K subs by the end of the year. I'm still sitting on that 1,600 and change mark last I checked, which is about earlier in the week. So please, if you haven't already done so, and tell all your friends, hit that subscribe button, right? Make sure, let's get to that 2K mark by December 31st, 2024. Let's get to that 2K mark, okay, for the channel. Make sure you leave those likes, and make sure you hit the bell icon after you subscribe so you keep getting notified to all future content by yours truly. If I can get sentences out, that would be nice. But I thank you all for joining me here on just under 30 minutes here. This is a pretty short video for MightyFan, but I didn't have very far to go. Just going to the Walmart here at KOP. Gonna do some grocery shopping. I'm avoiding them all today. There's NHL hats coming, so I gotta be on my toes. Plus, there's a possibility that the Phillies win the division, so I gotta, you know, be ready for that too. Anyhow, I will see you all in the next video. You all take care, and thanks for tuning in. All right, everyone.